Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another video. So this is going to be another episode of Road to 1000 DuelingBook rating. We're going to be on Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc again, but this time our opponent is going to be only 23 on blind Second Swordsoul. And this match was played a little while back when this deck was more popular, but I figure this is a pretty good matchup to showcase anyways, just because our opponent is playing a deck that is more than prepared to just blind second and break boards with all their main deck equalizers, which is pretty scary even against a deck like ours that can play certain insurance cards like Oath. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this match without any further ado. So we do go ahead and we actually win the RPS here, which is good in the sense that we get to go first, but also not as good because they get to conceal information about their deck here. But our opening hand going first is going to be Wagtail, Foolish, Cobalt Sparrow, Forbidden Chalice, and Nibiru. So pretty solid hand overall. We have the Foolish to kind of tie together our engines, which is fortunate because otherwise we'd have two non-synergistic birds in hand. And that's kind of the problem I feel with like the higher bird count. Like you sometimes open hands like this. Granted, if you open like a critical mass of birds, it's better. I am still testing it out like from time to time, like just more birds in the main deck. But yeah, like this is like one of the combos that just doesn't do anything. Same with like Sapphire plus just one other bird. I mean, the idea with a higher bird count is that you want to open as many as possible, but sometimes you like just open duplicates or you open ones that again don't really work together. So I still am trying to find out like the most optimal ratio. But yeah, hand's pretty good here. And then their hand is going to be Evenly, Emergence, Lightning Storm, Mystic Mine, and Taya. Yeah, they got a lot of ways to break our board right here. So we're going to be going first. We're going to Foolish Burial here. We're going to send Kit. And then we're going to send Nerval to add Fractal. I have the option here to just send Nerval directly to add Karas and then pitch one of these birds to summon the other one off the Farid. But I choose not to do that because I want more value off of this Wagtail Sparrow combo, which you'll kind of see. Bird Call, again, helps to bridge that together. So instead, we go ahead and use our normal on the Fractal. We're going to banish 2 for Farid. Farid's effect is going to allow us to summon this Wagtail out of hand, which will grab us a Bird Call. And now we have the famous Bird Call plus Cobalt Sparrow. So we grab our Sapphire, and then we get to summon out the Sparrow from the Bird Call, which nets us another search for the Nerval. And then here we go for recital number 1, and I elected to search for Barrow Canary. There's another line that in hindsight I probably would have done instead of this. So what I do here is I go like Sapphire to summon out Nerval so I can get DDL on board. But what I could and probably should have done was search search Warbler here, summon the Warbler off the Sapphire Swallow, and then bring back this Celestine Wagtail from grave. Then I can go Wagtail plus Baron Blossom into the Simorg and then make a second recital, search for Canary there, and then go for Draco Future, which would have been a bit safer. I mean, not necessarily because like I already committed my normal summon. So like all I would really have for follow-up would be like Barrow Canary, provided like I did Barrow before Nerval and I had a Barrow Warbler Sparrow or Swallow in hand. Like that probably would have been the optimal 3 if I wanted to go that route, but I mean, regardless, our opponent also said they didn't have hand traps, so, that's kind of a moot point. But anyways, we do go for this play instead, which ends on DDL. So we're going to bring out the Sapphire plus Nerval, and then we're going to link 3 for the Simorg. We're going to trigger our Farid, and of course we draw Oath, so that's going right back to the bottom of the deck. And then we're going to Nerval here to banish 2, summon out DDL, and then we're going to go and overlay for the Robin, and then we're going to go and attach our Sparrow plus Wagtail. And we're going to set Chalice and then go to end phase and trigger our Simorg for Apex Avium. So board's still fine. We could end on Draco Future here instead. I do have the follow-up Barrow Canary, which is nice. And I think the advantage here is that I have this Nerval underneath the Robin. So I have 3 forms of follow-up if this Robin gets sent to grave. So I have like the Robin itself, I have Nerval, plus I have Barrow Canary. Whereas if I did the other play that I mentioned with the Warbler, I would have like most likely just a Nerval in hand or maybe a Spirit Barrow Canary, one of the two. And then the Nerval would not be a Nerval underneath this Robin, so I'd only have 2 forms of follow-up. But I think that is a small price to pay because Draco Future allows us to add like more variety to the end board. I think I'm just very fixated on trying to end on all 3 of the tri-types, which I didn't even accomplish with this end board, to be fair. I'm like so focused on trying to get to DDL pretty much every hand, given the fact that Oath is so important. But yeah, I think I kind of just overlooked the obvious play here. But yeah, again, things to note in hindsight. They draw a second copy of Lightning Storm for turn. So they're going to begin with the Lightning Storm. That's going to force out my Apex Avian. And then they're going to go into battle phase. And then they're going to activate Evenly. So bye-bye board. We keep the Robin just because it's follow-up plus interruptions. But that gets punished by this Mystic Mine in main phase 2. So we actually don't have any main deck outs in this list right now, but I am gonna bluff like I do, just because my hope is that they'll think that I have an out and I'm just waiting for it instead of scooping immediately, so I can like, try and make a cool play, or like not really a cool play, but make a play with Droplet to just clear my own monsters. So yeah, we're just gonna pass here. Yeah, there's a Droplet. So I'm like, all right, if my opponent commits and like they mess it up, then I can like maybe Droplet my way out of the game to like steal it somehow. But by all means, I should definitely not be winning this game because I don't have any outs in my main deck anyways, in this list at least. So we're just gonna keep passing, and there they draw the out, which is the second Mystic Mine. So they're gonna begin with Chalice on a Robin, and then they're going to set their second mine over the first one, which makes it so that they have no more face-up cards. So now they're free to Lightning Storm our back row, which I was feeling safe behind, but now we just have Nibiru, which is not going to be enough once they have a Long Yun in hand. So yeah, they Long Yun, pitch Vishuda, and they can instantly go for Barome. So now Nibiru is pretty much turned off. They get to burn us for 12, and then they get to go ahead and normal summon Moye to Ulataya, and then they get the token. They can Vishuda bounce a Robin as well, and then they can go and summon another Vishuda. Here I tried a Desperation Nibiru, but obviously they're not gonna not use the Barone, obviously. So they're gonna go ahead and Chi Shell plus Moge, and then we just scoop that one up. So our opponent played it pretty patiently, and they didn't like try and just sit behind it, or behind the mine. So despite all that, even though we just tried to bluff that we had an out, our opponent did manage to take that game. So we're down a game going into game 2 here, and I do like to go first still, even though I know the matchup. Just because I know that the hand that I opened just now wasn't the most optimal, and I didn't end on Oath, which is like the key thing I was thinking. So I'm like, okay, between hopefully getting to Oath as well as side deck cards like Imperial Order, for instance, I could like play better against the Go second cards. So I do take the chance of going first again. Plus, I don't really want to play into a board where it's not really guaranteed, because they're not cutting engine cards necessarily for the blind second stuff. Like they might cut engine cards to a point, but like not enough of them to where like if we make them go first, they just do nothing. But yeah, our opening hand here is not the greatest, despite everything I just said. So it's Nerval, DD Crow, Warbler, Barrow Canary, and Kit. We don't really have any of the +1 Lyriluscs to combo with the Warbler. I'm talking about Sparrow or Wagtail. But this still does get us to a pretty good play, and I kind of run through it as we go along here. And then their hand is going to be Dark Ruler, Long Yun, Terraforming, Forbidden Chalice, and Ashina. So their hand also isn't as strong. They have a way to Mystic Mine plus Dark Ruler, but they don't have 3 equalizers, which is the most important part. And like Chalice is not the greatest going second against our deck. So we're gonna go ahead and begin with Warbler to summon out Barrow Canary. We just need the extra body without normal summoning here. So we're gonna Recital, and we're gonna search for Sapphire Swallow. I reason that they probably aren't playing hand traps, so that's why I feel okay with just coming into this like admittedly more vulnerable line, just because our opponent is playing so many blind second stuff. It's hard to envision them fitting in hand traps into their list too, like even if it's in their side deck. But yeah, we're gonna go and Sapphire Swallow, bring out Nerval, and then go into Recital and search Cobalt Sparrow. And then because we already have Kit, we can go search Karas off of this Nerval here, which is pretty advantageous for us. And then we go for Draco Future. And then right here is actually where I mess up in terms of managing the optimality of my resources. So what I should be doing is going for the Banish 4 into Omen anyways, because if I do that, I can go Omen plus Kit into Farigit, and then I can trigger Omen to search for Wagtail. And what that allows me to do is I can go Farigit to summon out either the Wagtail or the Cobalt Sparrow. It doesn't really matter which one. It doesn't matter too much. Probably summon out the Wagtail anyways, just to get a follow-up Bird Call. And then we can go into Simorg there, and then we can like go Karas, pitch Cobalt Sparrow, summon itself, and then Karas Spanish 2 for DDL. And then we can like the Cobalt would search us for a Barrow Canary or the Bird Call to like, get off the Wagtail either way. And we can go like it would be the Bird Call there. It would grab us Barrow Canary, and then we can go Canary, bring back the Sparrow, and then search another monster. And then we can end on the full board with keeping the Steedy Crow in hand plus another follow-up name. But what ends up happening is that I just banish 2, I summon out Farigit, which forces me to commit the Steedy Crow to summon out Karas, and then I don't get the extra Omen search. So I'm actually down 2 cards from where it could be if I just went for the Omen play. So yeah, like I felt fine because I already had Karas. I'm like, oh, I don't need to Omen search Karas, but like still, it probably is worth it just to go for it, even though I have to like relinquish a bit more of my resource pool in the graveyard. Just because, having follow-up is pretty important, especially against a deck that is, tailor-made pretty much to go second and break the board. So yeah, we get the Cobalt Spirit to search for Barrel Canary anyways, so it's not like we don't end on the full board, we do. But it's a bit more awkward because, like, I just don't have anything else in hand. I also could have gone for Almirage instead of just hard making some work with Kit, but that's kind of a small thing. Actually, no, I can't because it would run out of space on the board. So I figured it was pointless to do it that way. Yeah, so we pitched Crow for this when this could just be a Lyrilusc name that we bring back off Canary. And then we summon a DDL, we go for Barrel Canary, and like this is fine. Like again, it still gets us to the full board, but it's definitely not what it could be entirely. Like we could have 2 cards in hand right here, basically. So yeah, we go end phase, summon an Apex Avium. And then here I summon Robin in defense. It's kind of a silly decision looking back on it. The logic was a bit flawed here. So like I was thinking, okay, the Swordsoul monsters are pretty big. Like Taya, I think is 18 and Moya is 17, or the other way around. Can't remember exactly which. So I'm thinking, okay, they're big enough to contest this in battle. So I was thinking, all right, maybe I just put it in defense to play around Lightning Storm a bit better. But I mean, they're gonna storm regardless, and it's gonna force out Apex Avion. So the only reason why that would be relevant is that like they had double Lightning Storm, and for some reason I didn't commit Oath to it. So I don't know. Yeah, this definitely should just be an attack position, and I think I pick up on this and I learn from it for the next game. But yeah, they draw a copy of Ecclesia return, so they're gonna Dark Ruler, which forces our Oath, and then they're going to Chalice. They try to target our Apex, but it's protected, or it's protected by the Simorg, so they're gonna target our Draco feature instead, and then they're going to pitch Ashina to summon out this Longyun. You guys summon the token, and then we're gonna go and Robin bounce this token. I could have bounced the Longyun since this right now is gonna go into battle phase most likely and just clear the Robin. But I don't want them to like normal summon Moye in main phase 2 and like reveal this, or I don't want them to give, or I don't want to give them like a free resource that they can actually make use of. So here they normal summon Ecclesia, and I think they do this because like they could special this, and then I could like Robin, but they would chain Ecclesia. But they don't have anything for Moye. So if they summon Taya and that gets bounced, they'd have to normal it anyway. And then I could just DDL bounce that. So I think that they just wanted to normal summon this so they can clear as much as they can in the battle phase. So yeah, they go ahead and attack over a Robin here, which I'm not too beat up about because that means that we're surviving this turn, so at least we get to play with some follow-up. And then here they Longyun attack into the DDL. I think they actually just forgot that this was being boosted. And then they were like, they decided to just, take it like a champ and then take the 400 damage. So yeah, Ecclesia is going to activate. They're going to go and summon the Taya from deck. And then, yeah, here I'm like, well, they already normal the Ecclesia, so I don't really have much to fear. So I am going to just DDL bounce this. And the last card in their hand is Terraforming, which they know is going to be negated by this Apex Avian, or Mystic Mind is going to be negated by Apex Avian. So yeah, they go ahead and concede there. So yeah, I think it was a little bit weird. Although granted, like even if they didn't accidentally crash their own Longyun, they would have had just Longyun. They could have, I suppose, made like Baronne Fleur with the Ecclesia plus the Longyun, but yeah. Also, the other reason I kept the token on board was obviously they had Ashina and Graves, so I don't really want them having that. So like that, I guess, was a more obvious reason to not keep the token around. But we're going to move into Game 3 here, and if you guys are enjoying this commentary, please do consider leaving a like. It does help out the channel a lot. And also consider subscribing if you're new here. We are super close to 10K, and I really want to host that big free-to-enter giveaway tournament for you guys. So definitely feel free to subscribe if you want to take part in that. Also join my Discord server, all that good stuff. There will be details to come in there. But yeah, anyways, they make us go first in Game 3, pretty predictable. Our opening hand is Double Fractal, Cobalt Sparrow, Kit, and DD Crow. So again, not the most ideal hand, but it is workable. And you'll find you'll get these like mediocre but still playable hands quite often, where like it's good enough to combo, but like you can't protect yourself against every single hand trap. Thankfully, they're not playing hand traps, so that's fine. Their hand instead is going to be Lightning Storm, Double Evenly, Vishuddha, Chalice. And so their hand actually isn't really playable right now. And I do contemplate for a while here. I do very much consider just passing on this. And obviously in hindsight, yeah, we should be passing because 3 of their cards are just dead if we pass. I decided not to though because I work out a line in my head that does end up on pretty much the full combo. So we're going to Fractal Descend Nerval to add Karis here. And we're going to normal summon out Kit first. We can go ahead and banish 2 for the Farigit. We're going to Farigit to summon out Cobalt Sparrow, and then Cobalt Sparrow effect to search for Barrow Canary. And then here we're going to go into Simwork because they want this Kit Engrave. Here is where I probably could have just made Amirage and it would have not clogged my board. So I think that was fine. But yeah, we're going to go for Farigit draw as well. We put back DD Crow. I don't know why I put back DD Crow actually, now that I'm looking at it. Maybe it's because I wanted to follow up Fractal, but in the event that the board does get broken, I guess DD Crow is not like the most insane in this matchup anyways. Like, it hits the Tenyi stuff, but that's mostly it. So maybe just valued having the follow-up there, which is fair enough. We're going to go Karis to banish 2 for DDL, and then we're going to bring out the Ensemble Robin. So yeah, we do end on, like, not the full board, but enough with, like, Oath, and that's, like, the biggest thing. So we have Oath plus Apex, which I figure is, like, good, given, like, the other interruptions we have on our board. So they draw another Vishuddha for turn. So yeah, literally if I had passed and kept all my resources, they would have not been able to do really anything. But again, you know, hindsight is 2020. I didn't want to like pass and risk them actually like opening well enough to like keep playing. So yeah, like, given the fact that like the only thing I had to stop them was DD Crow, and that's by no means like guaranteed as an interruption if they open like a Swordsoul heavy hand. So yeah, we're blessed with the fact that they didn't open super well. So like it's a gamble I could have taken, but I wasn't feeling risky enough to do that. So yeah, we're gonna negate their evenly with Apex, and then they're gonna evenly again. We're gonna negate that with Oath because we still have a Winged Beast here. And then they're gonna Lightning Storm us, and here I'm like, well, I should have just kept this Robin in defense position. I'm like, I learned from my incorrect kind of assumptions in game 2, so I put it in attack position, and here of course I get punished by like, you know, the double equalizer into Lightning Storm. I still think it's correct to put it in a tap position, but it just kind of sucks that it didn't work out that way for me. Also, I don't know why I got rid of my own Karis. Neither of us caught that one, but the Karis should be on field. It won't end up mattering, but yeah. It's not like I draw Warbler when my field is clear. And if anything, it actually hurts me because I just don't have a free Tri-Brigade monster in the field. So that would have been a free card to trade with Chalice. But yeah, we normal summon Fractal instead, which I guess is why I ultimately kept it. They do Chalice this, but yeah, we do have Barrow Canary in hand, so we are going to... they knew about this too. We added it back off the Robin, so we're going to bring back the Cobalt Sparrow, and then we are going to be able to establish a pretty good board here. We're going to go for Recital, and they draw, and then they put it back, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here? But yeah, they just end up conceding anyways. I guess I just wanted to see, but most people don't like draw and then put back the card that they just drew. That's like a little funny. But yeah, this play would have been Recital to search Sapphire, and then it would have been Sapphire to bring itself out and Wagtail. And then it could have been Warbler instead of Wagtail here, but that would have brought out Robin, which wouldn't have been like the most ideal. But in any case, this is still like a pretty solid end board because I would have ended on at minimum Draco Future. I also could have gone for Zeus potentially. But yeah, I could have gone for like Draco Future with Call by the Grave, and like they're not playing, like they didn't play last turn, so I just assume that they don't really have like a lot of engine cards. So even if the board isn't like super absurd, you know, if it's enough to hinder them for one turn, then I can just close out the game on the following turn. But yeah, that is going to be it. They actually probably shouldn't have like drawn their card because like if they actually drew Mystic Mine, it wouldn't have an out to it right away, I don't think. Yeah, there definitely wasn't any world where it would have had an out to it immediately. So I think that's why they like put it back and then realized, well, they already looked at the card. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you did enjoy. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.